In this video, we are talking about a snowy and severe short-term forecast. Severe weather season is in full force as we have elevated risks tomorrow and Friday from the Storm Prediction Center. Also, we have new, important details on that big storm coming later in the week. All that and more coming right up. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. Before we jump into the weather, I do gotta say thank you to the y'all squad. You guys are awesome. Most people are starting to receive their orders now from shopryanhall.com. You guys look great in this stuff. Keep sending in pictures, keep spreading the love. You guys are doing incredible work on making sure the y'all squad is able to help people when disaster strikes, which is the point of all this, okay? We're looking for unique ways to incorporate into our live streams and our videos, but we are getting there. So thank y'all so much. Now let's get into the video. All right, starting off here with a big view of the lower 48. You can see by 2 p.m. Eastern today, we are going to have some of that really heavy snow exiting upstate New York finally. And we're just going to be left with some scattered snow showers and snow squalls, possibly all the way down into Ohio and West Virginia. Now, the further south you go, the more rainy that's going to be, but we're also going to see sleet, graupel, and snow mixed in, especially up there into Pennsylvania and New York. Vermont, New Hampshire, you guys are going to see a little bit of snow on the backside, but mostly you're dealing with that cold rain and those really strong winds as that big low pressure system skedaddles out of here. Now, our eyes are going to shift over there to the center of the country. You can see here by tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we've got some scattered rain showers, maybe a couple claps of thunder from Little Rock all the way up to St. Paul. And then on the northern side, we got snow. As another disturbance is going to cause heavy snow in northern Minnesota and some heavy rain all the way down into the Great Lakes region into the Ohio Valley. Also, by 7 p.m. tomorrow, you can see our next system coming into the west coast. It's going to start off as rain and wind over there in Seattle. But look at this. What the heck is this? Are you seeing this? We got to inspect that and zoom in right here in a second. All right, zooming in here a little bit and looking at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for tomorrow. We have a slight risk, or a 2 out of 5, from Oklahoma City and Norman all the way up into Tulsa and Joplin. Okay, so we got Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma in this. And I personally believe that this is a very conditional setup, but there is a chance for maybe a renegade supercell or two to form tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. And those could cause maybe some damaging winds, some hail, and of course we can't roll out an isolated tornado. So if we look at the composite reflectivity, you can see all that rain forming and once again some storms moving through Jefferson City all the way down through Little Rock, maybe even as high up as into Des Moines, points north into Waterloo, but those are not really expected to be very severe. Maybe some small hail and some winds here and there, but watch this. We've got this little cold front boundary on the backside of the storm here that's really going to try to meet up with some sneaky warm air that's trying to build back in on the underside of the first area of precipitation, and if those meet up in the correct way, we very well could see something like this happen where we have a supercell storm form or two in Kansas and Oklahoma, and then work their way to the south and to the east. And the HRRR here is actually showing a very intense supercell possibly forming in southeastern Kansas and then moving into the quad state area between Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Now obviously this isn't exactly what the radar is going to look like, but it could look like something similar there. And of course, those storms are going to kind of die out as we get into the overnight and early morning hours on Thursday. This could be displaced a little bit. It could end up being a little bit further to the north, a little bit further to the south. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but certainly if we do get a renegade supercell like this, we could be talking about some monster hail, some very strong straight line damaging wind gusts with those micro bursts and those downbursts. And then of course, the tornado threat becomes drastically more emphasized if our storm is allowed to take advantage of all those ingredients in the atmosphere by itself, which if it looks like this, it's going to be able to do that. So if we take a look at the 850 millibar winds, or what we call nadir juice over here, there is plenty of it in Kansas and Oklahoma, but look at the time. It's 10 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to see winds around 60, maybe 50 to 60 knots there, which is ample, spicy nadir juice. But watch what happens as I pull this into the future. The really strong lower level jet streak gets displaced from the area where that supercell is going to be forming. So we still do have some activity here where that supercell is going to be forming, but it's going to be chasing it, okay? If that cell is able to latch on to that lower level jet, the tornado threat is going to increase. But right now, it seems pretty minimal because of how quickly that increased parameter is moving off to the east. Nevertheless, you should have a NOAA weather radio, and you should be preparing right now for what you're going to do if that warning comes through. Speaking of being prepared, how would you like to be more prepared for that next big financial decision? Keeping up with your finances is super important, and our sponsor today makes it super easy. Truebill, the money app that works for you. Truebill is an all-in-one personal finance platform that helps you save more and spend less. Easily cancel unwanted subscriptions, lower your bills, keeping an eye on that credit score. Do any of these things sound like something you'd like to or should be doing? Well, look no further than Truebill. I am not joking when I say that this app has tremendously helped me manage my money. Everything is all in one place, and it's displayed in a way that just makes so much sense. And I am always aware of my current financial situation with accurate, up-to-the-minute information. Another cool thing about this app is you can set up what they call a smart savings account. And I've got it set to where once a month it takes a certain amount of money from my checkings account and auto deposits it into the savings account, which I can withdraw from anytime. To try it out for free, please click the link in the description or go to truebill.com/Ryan Hall. Once again, that's truebill.com/Ryan Hall. And of course, there is a link in the top of the description. Now, let's get back into the video. All right, zooming out and looking at the Euro model once again. We're going to look at that next big severe weather outbreak that we could be having in the plains as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday. Here's a look at the 500 millibar trough. Once again, you can see it digging down over here on the west coast. Lots of warm air and moisture advecting up from the Gulf of Mexico here. Those tomatoes are just waiting to get launched against the wall. They're going to start splattering there on Thursday, and we are going to see some storms over here. But the real severe weather, I think, doesn't start until Friday. Look at this. Here we go. Around 2 p.m. on Friday, we got a negatively tilted trough over here. Lots of lift out in front. Lots of moisture coming up. And there's going to be a boundary area that sets up where storms could form all up and down the plains, maybe from Nebraska all the way down into Texas. And we still don't know a lot of details about this just yet. But I do know that the threat gets worse with time. Okay, look at this. As we go late into the day on Friday, you can see how that trough is really starting to amplify. Got lots of lift out in front of it. And now on the southeastern side, those winds are really starting to crank up as we get into Saturday. Look at this. 2 p.m. on Saturday, that is one heck of a wall for some maters or tomatoes to be thrown against. And once again, you got plenty of nader juice out there when that splattering action happens. So I think that this is going to be a multi-day event, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, possibly even Sunday, as a wall is setting up here for all of this moisture to get flung into. And we're going to see a severe weather event after severe weather event. Now, the small details will be worked out as we go into the future, but as of right now, it looks like Thursday won't be too much of a tornado day. However, there is still a chance, especially in the overnight period, as that lower level jet really starts to crank up. But look at this, guys. On Friday, that is some nader juice, okay? It looks like somebody had a big old can of nader juice or tornado juice and spilled it out in the middle of the country there from Texas all the way up into Minnesota. As you can see, those lower level jet winds are cranking up to 60 to 70 knots. And of course, that area of interest expands as we go into Saturday as well. So that's what we're looking at there. And of course, we went over this before. Nader juice ain't nothing. It ain't stout enough unless you got the moisture too, unless you got those dew points. And looky here, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we've got plenty of moisture transporting all the way up to the north. We got 50-degree dew points close to Canada. 60 and 70 degree dew points down here in Texas. So there's a lot of moisture to be spread around there. Now, it's not super rich, but the moisture on the backside that's punching it out of the way is super dry. So there's enough of a gradient there to provide lift, to force that warm, moist air up into the atmosphere, cause those updrafts, and then of course that lower level jet's going to help those updrafts spin a little bit, and we got tornadoes. Looks like there's going to be quite a bit of an opportunity for nocturnal tornadoes as well, as a lot of these increased parameters are not showing up until 10, 11 p.m. on most of these days. Not only do we have the high dew points, but we got the high temperatures too. Look at this, highs all the way up into the 70s and 80s as you go into the northern plains. We got some 80s and 90s down here in Oklahoma and Texas. And then look, the rest of the East Coast as well is starting to warm up. How about you there in Chicago with a 75-degree temperature? All of Ohio and Kentucky and Tennessee, we're having fun in the sun. But I'm sorry, up there in Maine, you guys are still chilly up there in New England, all the way out on April 23rd. It's definitely a late start to spring for you guys. But you can see that cold front doing work as it moves off to the east, and this will provide showers and thunderstorms as it goes all the way out to the east coast. But as of right now, we don't think that those are going to be too intense, but if anything changes, I'm going to let you know. Here's a look at where those storms could be as we look at the instantaneous flash rate. This shows us where lightning flashes could occur. Thursday at 6 p.m., we're going to have some storms down here in Kansas, down through Texas. The exact location of these storms is is going to change a little bit, but this gives you a good idea. We got some warm front action over there in Iowa early in the morning on Friday. And then, of course, the big day, I think, on Friday is going to happen with that big convection line from Nebraska into Kansas, into Oklahoma and Texas. Perfect storm chasing day. This is like the perfect area for storms to happen. I know we got people that live out there, but the population's low. We got a lot of flat fields, a lot of open area, good road network for storm chasing. And then as this goes off to the east on Saturday, we do think we're going to see another area of intense storms from Oklahoma up into maybe Iowa and Wisconsin as those storms are going to continue. And of course, we're going to see more storms on Sunday, maybe even Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday as this tries to exit off the East Coast. But look at how less significant they are as they get past the Mississippi River. Okay, so as of right now, I don't think this is a huge risk on this side of the country, but if that changes, I will let you know. This would be the perfect opportunity for Ryan Hall to get out there in the Storm Seeker and do some real storm chasing. I hinted at this idea yesterday, but I want to let you guys know that I'm not 100% sold on doing that. I understand that I'm needed here on the monitors, but what we're trying to do is work out a way to where I'm still going to be in the Storm Seeker. You'll still hear my voice. I'm still going to be calling out tornado warnings. I'm going to have a driver. I'm going to have a camera person. So the only thing that I have to worry about is being Ryan Hall, y'all. However, in Nebraska, in Iowa, and these places, cell service is not the best. So what happens when I drop out? Well, we're trying to test out ways for Carly and Andy and whoever else wants to be a part of this is still going to be there in the mission control zone so that they can continue to relay updates while I'm not on the air. So we'll still have radar, we'll still have the live updates for the tornado warnings, even if I don't have service out there. But this is a big logistics thing. This is a big project to take on, especially when I would technically have to leave tomorrow to get to the storms in time. So I don't know if it's going to work out for this particular storm, but definitely look out in May, guys. It's in my blood. I have to go storm chasing. In May, I probably won't be here in the weather room for maybe an entire week or two, but when things get gnarly, we're still going to do our live streams and everything should still be as informative as before. Okay, I'm not 100% sure, but we've got to try it, right? We've got to try it. A huge shout out to all of our members over here. We have over 2,400. Thank you guys for joining. One of the things that we're going to try to do as we prepare for this live storm chasing thing is we're going to test it out, right? So if you're a member of the channel, get ready for those test live streams. It should be a lot of fun and you guys can help us perfect it so that when we do go live to the public, everything's going to run smoothly. All right, thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.